Good afternoon. I'm Khaylah Day, manager of the Crime Scene Examiner News, and I'm here with Bill Marable, and this is your weekly crime scene news review. In this week's CSC News, our lead story is from the crime pages. A man bludgeons grandmother with a hammer. He committed the crime in Memphis and was captured here in Jackson, Tennessee. Read the whole story on page 1 of this week's crime scene.
Also, on page 1 of this week's crime scene, we say congratulations to Miss Juneteenth 2025, Jandale Ross. She was crowned last Saturday. Shout out to the Jackson-Madison County School System for capturing 7 outstanding honors. Dr.
Please be sure to pick up your copy of the crime scene at a Dollar General store in Humboldt, Alamo, Bells, Bolivar, Milan, Trenton, and Jackson. Every week in the crime scene, we highlight area birthdays and anniversaries and our proud parent alert on page 2. This week, Tanisha Glenn reverses the trend by honoring her mother, Sonia Coleman, for recently earning her college degree.
On page 3 of this week's crime scene, we have news from the Jackson Rotary Club, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, the 100 Black Men of West Tennessee, and the City of Bolivar, where Mayor Julian Matizik and the City of Bolivar presented autism awareness to first responders. Shout out to the Gentlemen of Distinction, Baskerville Funeral Home, for sponsoring the obituaries for this week. We'll help lift your spirits with church news on page 4. Check out the ads from Saragato Baptist Church and Progressive Community Baptist Church.
Every week, we feature news from the Jackson-Madison County School System, as well as news from other schools, colleges, and universities throughout West Tennessee. Shout out to all the Jackson-Madison County System as celebrating earning 7 National Communications Awards. The district was honored for excellence in storytelling, digital media, and public engagement. West Tennessee Outdoors with Ray Jones highlights area outdoor activities. Last week, the Boys and Girls Club of Jackson and Brownsville Unit Summer Camp members enjoyed a day of fishing at Winchester Farms. As we move along, I'd like to ask our listeners to please support those businesses that support the crime scene. We'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Mr. Robert Tick McKinley and A Close Bonding Company of Trenton, Tennessee. If you find yourself in need of a bail bondsman quick, call Mr. Tick at 731-487-9900.
The Crime Scene Examiner newspaper is published every Thursday and distributed throughout rural West Tennessee. In Humboldt, pick up a copy of the Crime Scene at Tobacco Central and Dollar General. In Jackson, you can pick up a copy at Walgreens, Dollar General, Food Giant South, Food Right on East Chester, and you'll probably get a copy at your local church.
Brown Beat by Downtown Ricky Brown is on page 7 in the crime scene. He's highlighting the crime scene reader of the week as well as the man's record service traffic spotter of the week. He also spotlights the Sunday show, which highlighted area pastors last week. The Sunday show broadcasts on local radio stations 101.5 and 103.5 and 96.5. Enjoyed having 2 local pastors this Sunday with the show host Downtown Ricky Brown and Jeremy Chandler. Sunday's guests were Dr. Charles Clark, pastor of Progressive Baptist Church located at 203 Hollywood Drive, Jackson, and Ronnie Forte, the lead pastor at Marantha Seventh-day Adventist Church located at 360 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive in Jackson.
On page 8 in this week's crime scene, one of our Nashville readers, Arlene Martin Norman, writes about her recent trip to the annual Black Rodeo held in Boley, Oklahoma. Please be sure to pick up your copy of the crime scene at a Countryside Sitco in Humboldt, Dollar General in Alamo, and S&J Roadside in Bells.
On page 9, Wendy Isom Mercer's column, Socially Seen, appears in the weekly crime scene, and this week she says she's grateful for a memorable first-time cruise experience with family and friends in the Bahamas. On page 10, guest columnist Jeremy Chandler says people buy people. Your best product is you. Elvis Rogers also asked the question, do you want to be alone, in his column this week. On our op-ed page this week, you'll find The Takeout by Morris Merriweather, and the Jackson, Tennessee chapter of the National Action Network calls for the resignation of JPD Chief Tom Corley.
Hey, spend a few dollars with the businesses that support the crime scene. Tell them I read it in the crime scene. Subscribe today. $30 for an electronic subscription 1 year, $75 for a mail subscription 6 months, and $50 for home delivery in the Jackson area for 1 year. Email your subscription request to wtenews@gmail.com.
Did you know that the Crime Scene Examiner newspaper is one of the leading publishers of legal notices in the Hub City? You'll find notice to creditors, chancery court notices, and notices of vehicles to be sold, as well as foreclosures and delinquent tax notices. One of the things the crime scene is most recognized for is the publication of weekly arrest reports from Island, Humboldt, and Jackson.
I'd like to remind our listeners to please be sure to pick up your copy of The Crime Scene at Dollar General stores in Alamo, Bells, Bolivar, Milan, Trenton, Humboldt, and Jackson. The Crime Scene owner, that's me, Bill Marable, recently attended a writer's workshop in Aurora, Illinois. The story will appear in this week's Crime Scene, along with a story about Griot Collective of West Tennessee member Taomi Ray and her new book, A Poet's Journey 11.
From news from the Divine Nine fraternities and sororities to highlights of community events, Terry Gore Wood is always on the scene with her weekly column, Picture This. On page 16 this week, there's news from Hair Talk with Camille Chavon, highlighting the recently graduates of her braiding classes. Camille is the owner of Hair Expressions Hair Salon in Bolivar. Keep up with the crime scene by logging onto our Facebook page, Crime Scene Examiner News, for daily updates.
You can also log on to our website, csenewsnow.com. Thanks to Dr. Clark and the From Me to You podcast for hosting the Crime Scene Examiner News Weekly Review. Log on to your favorite streaming venue and listen to our weekly broadcast.
Until next week, I'm Khaylah.
And I'm Bill.
And thanks for tuning in to the From Me to You show and the Crime Scene Weekly Review.